What's going on, guys? Today we're gonna show you what a true 10-year return is on an investment property, and we chose this fourplex that I bought exactly 10 years ago. With that being said, let's jump into it. All right, guys, I chose to do this video on the worst day possible because it's absolutely freezing. And the reason I chose this property is we're doing a full renovation in the basement that we're going to show you. But I've had so many people ask me, Chandler, how much do you actually make at 1, 3, 5, and 10 years on an investment property? So the next couple of weeks, we're gonna show you properties that I've bought at each of those landmarks. And this is the one we're gonna start with because I bought this property exactly 10 years ago. Now, the thing that's gonna be fun about this property is we've had a unit that's had a tenant here forever and the unit was wrecked. So we're starting from scratch. We're gonna talk about those renovations costs. We're gonna talk about how much we've actually made on this property with cash flow, appreciation, principal pay down, and tax benefits. And we're gonna talk about some of the ins and outs of general maintenance on properties like this. However, I am freezing, so we're gonna take you guys inside to talk about the numbers. And I figured this would be a good one. We bought a lot of properties 10 years ago, but this one's in the worst shape, and so we're gonna talk about that as well. All right, first off, for this property, over years and years and years, we've had lots of water intrusion against this side wall. And so as you can see, we are re-stuccoing this entire wall. And that was after fixing, hopefully, the issues we had on the outside. We had to redo some of the roof. We also had to redo rain gutters. We've got a lot of work on the exterior we're wanting to take on this spring that we've kind of pushed off, and with how the weather is, that's gonna have to stay on hold. But I'm gonna see if I can find some pictures to put up. This just looked terrible. A lot of it was bubbled up, and originally it had been done incorrectly with the wrong materials. And so this wall looked rough. When we're finished with it, it's gonna look awesome. All right, you can hear there's a lot of background noise. We have got ourselves a mess. Now, there are a couple issues. First of all, if you look here, again, we were getting water intrusion, and we just had continued, and the previous owners had scraped it off, painted over it. We figured out what the problem was. We had to change the slope on the outside. We also had to add rain gutters, and we're hoping that'll stop any of the water intrusion. And when I say water intrusion, it's not like we've got active water coming in. It's more that we've got these bricks that lots and lots of water from watering outside and other things eventually pushes its way through, where you're not necessarily getting moisture, but you are getting lots of bubbles and cracks and other things in those cinder blocks that works its way through. There's a name for this, but I can't think of it. If I do, I'll put it up on the screen. Now, another issue, up here, on occasion, we would get some moisture in the ceiling. It was never a lot, but we found that the stairs upstairs had a crack. Now, we fixed that temporarily, but we also are planning on replacing those concrete stairs upstairs. They're still safe, but they're definitely starting to face the wear and tear of Idaho winters. And this is something we deal with a lot because a lot of those concrete stairs after 10, 15, 20 years, they just start to look in rough shape. A lot of the edges falls off. Sorry, I'm still catching my breath because it was freezing outside. So if you come in here, similar thing. We decided to scrape and stucco. Now with these walls, we needed to get this fixed up, and when we're finished, we're actually going to frame and put drywall and just get this done correctly. The thing that's been nice about this unit, and this is one of the things that I want to talk about, is a lot of times when we purchased it, it was in good shape. You get a tenant in here that is here forever. And again, this isn't active water. It just starts to bubble and not look good on these concrete walls. And it was something that when we purchased the property, we knew at some point we would have to address. But when you've got a tenant in here that's good and doesn't have any issues, it's one of those things where, you know, if they've got an active leak, we want to get those things fixed. If they have a, any of these major things, they complain, we come in, we get them taken care of. These are things that the tenant didn't even really mention to us because they didn't have an issue with it. And so once they're out, we need to get them cleaned up so that we can get the right new tenant in here. Not that the previous tenant was bad, just that that's kind of how things work. Next thing we decided to take on with this project is the galvanized pipes. You can see we had all of this opened up. We replaced all of the old galvanized water, and this actually went to the other units because over time, the galvanized pipes will rust, they'll get smaller, you have water issues, you have gunk in the water, and at some point, you'll get to where they get clogged, where you can't even get your water in your units. Now, so many of the properties I buy have these galvanized pipes, and you have to take that into consideration as something that you know at some point you're going to have to replace. Now, you can wait until things go bad to replace them, or you can wait until things are getting bad to replace them. that was the place we were in with this property. And one of the things with old properties, and this is why you have to make sure you buy them properly, is you need to be able to afford some of these expenses. Now we're going to talk about cash flow and everything else that went into this property as far as our 10-year return. But I know there are tons of people right now panicking saying, Chandler, I'm looking at this project saying there's no way in heck I would ever want to invest in real estate. And that is understandable if you do things incorrectly. The other thing you need to keep in mind with a property like this is we have forever and for always been planning on 12% expenses / CapEx. And we have spent very, very little of that over the last 10 years. So that then when we get to these things, we're saying, hey, our overall return has been absolutely incredible, way higher than the 20% cash on cash return we expected when purchasing this property, because we've had good tenants that have been here. We've had issues that we really haven't had to deal with until now. And now that the tenant's out, we want to address those things. I've got the money that has been put in reserves, and we want to make sure that we keep this property in good shape and put it in a place so that if we put a good tenant in here, we don't have to tear back into these ceilings later to fix those galvanized pipes. Now, if you can see, the flooring it doesn't look good now, but this carpet still looked in good shape. I think in a lot of units, we would have just cleaned it up and kept it. And I know you're looking at it saying that's crazy, but it really was in good shape before we took on all these projects. However, at this point, we're going to replace it. In here, the tile, a lot of that is in good shape, but we're gonna have to do some work on the vanity. The tile on the floor is in good shape, so we'll see if we decide to leave that. But then all of this is gonna have to be cleaned up, new texture, new mirrors, all of that, because we're in here, we might as well do it right. Now, over here, I wanted to show you the kitchen. We decided to leave a lot of the cabinets that are already here, but we did add these cabinets up here and these cabinets over here. And so we're gonna paint all of the cabinets so that they match and redo the flooring in the kitchen. Now, let's come in here and let's talk about the numbers, because I'm sure that's the part where you guys are very, very curious. Okay, I've got everything in my notes here. First of all, this property was purchased at $190,000. At the time we purchased it, I believe the units were renting $700 or $800 per unit. At this point, this new unit, we're gonna be able to rent for somewhere between $900 and $1,000. Now, I went through all of the old numbers to try and figure out exactly what our true return on this property was, and I'm gonna break those down for you now. First off, for a down payment, we had to put $47,500 on our down payment on this property. So that is what I view as our initial investment. With that, we borrowed $142,000, and I believe it was at a 3.6% interest rate. And so now, because of principal pay down and then interest with the payments that we were making, we paid that down to $124,000 as of right now. So if you do the math on that, that means we've paid down $18,500. That's the first part of our return, is we've essentially made $18,500 in principal pay down, which is more equity into the property. Now, when I was looking back on cash flow, I tried to give conservative estimates because I couldn't go through for all 10 years, and I just took the cumulative average. And I would say that we are over $9,000 per year on average in cash flow. Now, early on, that was a little bit lower because the rents were lower. Later, that's been higher because the rents were drastically higher as time went on. And so on average, I think it's been about $9,000 in cash flow every year. That means we've made about $90,000 in cash flow over the course of the 10-year period. Now, the next big way, and for this property, the biggest way that I got a return on it, was the appreciation over time. Now, over the last 10 years, there's been some crazy stuff happen. There's been some crazy inflation, and our market here has absolutely crushed it. So I purchased this property for $190,000. If it were to resell at a 5.5 cap rate, which I think is very, very realistic, because that's what other multifamily stuff is sold for, especially once we get these renovations done, the purchase price of this property would end up being $550,000, which is nuts considering I paid $190,000. Now, I think there's a chance we could sell it for even more, because when I was looking at comps, I haven't seen a fourplex that's sold under $600,000 in the last year. But again, this location and maybe these smaller rooms, I was assuming, at least $550,000 on the purchase price. That makes it so that in appreciation, we've made $360,000 in equity. Now, you don't truly make that until you sell or until you're able to refinance and pull some of that out. And so we are sitting on a lot of equity in this specific property, but that is part of your return. And if we wanted to sell, we could capitalize on being able to pull that out. Now, I want to pause right there because if we add it up, we do our $360,000 in appreciation, our $18,500 in principal paydown, our $90,000 in cash flow. That puts us at $468,500. Now, remember, our initial investment was $46,800. And so we're making essentially 100% return, or really, really close, every single year on this property for a 10-year period. Keep in mind that cash flow number was a conservative number. Every year we have expenses, but we planned for those expenses when we analyzed this property, and we were actually way under. And so these are numbers with what I'm assuming all of these renovations are going to cost, which is crazy because usually I would have to look at these renovations as a, this is going to be moving forward, or we're going to make it back from the added cash flow, when this property we just haven't spent a lot on. And that's one of the things that I don't want to say I'm embarrassed about, even though I am a little bit, is a lot of these properties that have tenants in there forever, I get inside of them and I'm like, crap, we really need to fix these up. I want them in better shape. But I think one thing people don't consider when being judgmental of landlords is a lot of time the tenant doesn't want you in there bugging. If they call and say, hey, I've got a leaky faucet, or I've got an issue, whatever that may be, we come and fix it. But we're not going to come in and repaint or refloor or do any of those things because tenants don't want us in their space bugging us to do that. And so a lot of times you have to wait to do these renovations until the tenant is left, or until they complain and say, hey, this is getting ridiculous, I want it fixed. There is one last piece to this puzzle I've left out, and that is depreciation. On this specific property, we've depreciated over $100,000. Which means in money that I would have had to pay with my tax bracket to the government, it's around $40,000 to $50,000 that I've been able to defer / avoid on my federal income tax because of purchasing this property and using depreciation, which is safe and an incredible way to avoid / defer taxes. If you include the tax side of things, you are well over 100, probably pushing 110, 115% returns on my initial investment every single year. That's not total. I mean, we are 1,000% plus returns on this property over 10 years. That's yearly return of over 100% purchasing a piece of real estate. And now you understand why I am so big on investing in real estate. So many people say, Chandler, there are stocks, bonds, crypto, all of this stuff. Well, here's the deal with this. It's consistent cash flow. It puts a lot of money into equity of the properties. And if you buy right, you can put yourself in a place where the returns are astronomical and hard to even comprehend on real estate. Now, the one other argument people will make is, Chandler, that isn't necessarily passive income because we can see the wall torn up behind you and the crap all over the floor. And you're right. There's a lot of learning that goes into this, but this is the first time I've been inside this unit for years. And that's because a tenant moves in, they're happy, they pay rent every month, they're happy, I'm getting the return I want. So is there an active part of investing in real estate if you want to do it right? Of course there is. But where else can you get 100% return plus every single year on your money? I'll wait. And if anyone tells you you can in some other investment, your risk is so much higher than dealing with coming in at a 10-year mark and fixing up stuff like this, especially if you get good relationships and connections with subs that can bust it out to where I came and showed up to this project, but so many of these things, I just had my sub reach out and say, hey, this is what we think needs to be done. This is what it's gonna cost. Do you want us to do it for you? And man, do I love that relationship, because then it truly is passive other than when I come to make these videos for you guys. Now, if you're wondering how the tax side of things works and how I take so much off my taxable income, that's using cost segregation and bonus depreciation. I've included Will Whiteman's number in his company if you want help with getting the engineering studies to be able to take advantage of those tax advantages. I've also included a link to the Creative Cash Flow Club if you want to put yourself in a place where you can capitalize on deals like this and be surrounded by a community that can help you do it. Now, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to remember to smash the like button, hit subscribe, hit the little bell, and we'll look forward to seeing you guys in the future videos. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.